know about y'all, but the new makeup releases that have been coming out this past week are kind of boring. Am I alone here? I don't know. I've been keeping an eye on them because I wanted to do another WIBI Bite talking about new makeup releases, but I'm kind of bored. But regardless, we are going to talk about it today. I'm going to be doing my makeup. I want to do something fun on my eyes with the new Give Me Glow, a Butterfly Vibes palette, and since I'm kind of late to getting a first impressions out on it, I figured I'd combine it with a WIBI Bite, and we can have some fun talking about new makeup releases while playing with this beauty of a palette, so that if the new makeup releases are as boring as I've been seeing recently, we'll at least have some excitement with this beauty of a palette. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Okay, as I said, I want to use this palette, and I got a bit of a purple, but also I got green in my necklace today, so I'm like, can we do a purple-green look? Very different tones of the purple and greens in this palette, but we're going to play with purple-green to kind of match. So, not going to go too much into like each of the shadows that I use, but I'm going to play with as many, you know, mattes as I can and as many shimmers as I can as we talk about the palette. There's only 4 shimmers, tons of mattes, super happy about that, but let's go ahead and talk about some new makeup releases. Okay, this is like such a sneak peek, but I do want to mention it. Nomad just dropped the sneak peek for their next palette, and it's going to be a fall theme slash, I don't know if it's for Halloween or just the fall season, but it's spooky theme. So I'm guessing, oop, I got a chunk of eyes shadow primer. I'm guessing it's going to come out in time for fall, but they just like launched a picture. So per usual when it comes to Nomad, they're going to start like teasing it, giving clues, showing some of the eyeshadow colors, and I am curious to see what they do for their next palette. I've been really enjoying Nomad's palettes this year. I remember they reached out to me asking to send me palettes and to give me a code to be part of their affiliate program this year, and they were a little hesitant because they're like, we're not going to really like do crazy bold and like rainbow eyeshadow palettes like they did a lot last year. So they weren't sure if it would be something I would want, but I was like, you know what, I love your formula. I like your more, you know, neutral palettes. They still have a spin on them. Like I still, you know, think of so many of their more neutral palettes, Hudson Valley, but even talking about like last year, what was that, the autumny one, I'm blanking on the name, the America's Parks palettes, like even their more neutral palettes, I feel like it can be fun. So I was like, you know what, I would still love to try your palettes this year, try your new releases, and I've been enjoying their palettes so very much. Like the Royal Europe palette, I still can't get over how much I loved each and every look that I did with that palette. I'm using the Smashbox 24-hour eyeshadow primer and then the Supersize Conceal and Define from Makeup Revolution, which I do need to get a new one because that one is almost at the end. So anyway, just want to mention really quick, Nomad is starting to tease, and I can't wait to see what they do for a more autumny, fall, spooky theme palette. Okay, I am going to be diving into the darkest shade in this palette, and then I'm probably going to go on top of it with, I'm going to top it with the green because I feel like that's going to be the easiest to get strong green in the outer corner, and then we'll do purple on the inner half, and then I'll probably use one of the greeny type shimmers all over the lid. And I think, is it multi-chrome? It's hard to see a shift, it's just very sparkly. Colourpop released some blushes. This is their cream blush, what's it called? Instapop. It's the Crush Matte Cream Blush, Instapop, nourishing soft colors, natural matte finish, creamy formula. I feel like this year and last year is the year of the cream products, because like every product that you could imagine that we traditionally would use for as a like a powder came out as a cream in the last year or so. I'm not into cream blushes. They're fine. I'll use them on occasion. I actually used blush today, which is a rarity for me. You guys probably can't see it because that's me when I tend to go for a blush. It's like super like faint and just barely there, so that never translates on camera. But yeah, cream blushes, not super exciting. I'm not into blush in general, but cream blush I do enjoy. I have a couple cream blushes that I sometimes remember to use. I'm very into cream bronzer right now though, so that's something different for me, but this isn't super exciting for me. Like I said, I wasn't wowed at all. I feel like it's been ages since I've talked about MAC Cosmetics, but they're coming out with a lipsticks, liquid, a dazzle shadow liquid, and mineralized skin finish. Is it just me, or I'm either not following people who share MAC's new releases, or they don't do many themed releases anymore? Is that just me? I don't know. Like I feel like I don't see. Remember they used to come out several times a year with like the most gorgeous packaging on the most boring type of, you know, products inside it. It's like nudes and pinks, but the packaging was always like you wanted it just for the packaging. Like I remember I went through a phase probably in 2014 to like shortly after getting into makeup, and I started noticing MAC's collections and stuff. It was after I got married, and oh my goodness, after I started YouTube, so I had a bit of income, so I was like, maybe I could splurge on some MAC, but I wanted some of those collections just for the packaging. And I was into that before finding indie. So for, you know, mainstream, the drugstore type of thing, like MAC packaging was like out of this world, so beautiful and eye-catching, and I just wanted to own it just because it looks so pretty. That's where I began my whole thing of like having pretty palettes to display. I suppose I can blame it on MAC. I'm gonna go into this one. But anyway, this isn't particularly like, you know, colorful, or not colorful, but it's not particularly creative of collection. It just made me think about those old collections that they used to come out with back when I was first getting into makeup, and as an adult, and I was curious about buying a couple. I think I bought one lipstick from one collection just because I couldn't justify the price too much and I wasn't super interested in the color, but I wanted it just for the packaging. Isn't that terrible? But yeah, those were the days. Do they still do that anymore? You'll have to let me know. This collection that, you know, I was just talking about, the whole point of talking about MAC, doesn't interest me at all. So pretty easy pass for me. I'm gonna go into this darker shade with this fluffy brush because it's not really staying on that darkest color, which I suppose isn't surprising, but I'm going to see what I can blend in because I don't want it to have a harsh edge where the dark brown goes into the green. Yeah, like that. I don't necessarily fault it too much for not sticking to that dark shade, but as long as it will mesh with the dark shade and give us a nice blend, that's what's important. So I'm going to go back into the flat brush. I'm probably going to tap into both of those colors to kind of help get a good transition and kind of mix them up. I guess I should have went in first with both of the colors mixed on my brush to get a better blend, because on a tacky base, Give Me Clothes formula sticks really well. So I think I remember it working best if I mix them together. Yeah, that's good. That's a good blend. Melt Cosmetics is coming out with Sheer Finish, Glazed Skin Sheer Finish Powder. Okay, so just powder foundation, powder finishing, and not really a foundation, but like a finishing powder. That's cool. I have not been interested in a melt release in so very long. Their last palette was such a snooze. I think their last two palettes were a snooze fest for me. Was not really into them at all. And then now they're coming out with more face products, so not really into it. I actually do want to order some face products because I'm getting quite dark. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I feel like my face always typically looks lighter on camera than my body, but it's getting to the point where it looks obviously lighter like in person because I'm getting such a tan this year caring for all the animals in the summer. So I'm outside a lot. I need to get a new foundation, or like I want more of a tinted moisturizer for the summer. So I need to get a darker one because my darkest one is not cutting it at all right now because it's just not dark enough. So I need to get some darker shades as we're in summer, and then I anticipate with just having animals, I'm gonna probably have more of my Latina tan coming through than before, because I used to be inside most all the time, so I would only kind of tan up in the summer when we were outside in the pool, but now I spend a good bit of my time outside all year round, so I don't think I'm gonna go back to my quite so fair skin tone that I was having the last couple of years. So anyway, all that to say, I need to buy some. A subscriber very graciously gifted me a gift card to Sephora, which I still can't get over. She doesn't want me to mention her, but she is the sweetest. And so I want to make a purchase from Sephora. Don't think I'm going to get Melt, but Melt made me think about it. But I do want to get one that I can wear for the summer, and I need to do that. But I've just been so busy. It's so overwhelming when you go on Sephora app to try to like look at new releases and new skin products. So let me know if there's a good recommendation. If you have a good recommendation, I'd love to hear it. Profusion and Jurassic Park collection. Interesting collection. What is that? I don't know what I'm doing with my brush. Sorry. That is a cool. I like the packaging. That's cool packaging, but what's the palette like? We got greens, pinks. Profusion tends to do that where it's just kind of like a bunch of colors, you know, with some neutrals in there. I appreciate that they don't always just stick to like neutrals. They put a lot of color in their palettes. And for the most part, Profusion has pretty good, this is definitely more pink than purple. Oh well. This definitely has, or Profusion definitely has more good quality for the price. I would say I like Profusion's quality of eyeshadow even more than like Makeup Revolution. And I'm mentioning that just because I recently tried Makeup Revolution. But I feel like I'm always more impressed and pleased with the eye looks that I get from Profusion. And I feel like relatively they're around the same price, if not Profusion cheaper. From what I remember, they're both pretty affordable, but I like Profusion's quality. It's a bit bit thinner, you know, nothing too intensely, you know, like super pigmented and creamy, but it's got nice color, blends really well. I think the last one I tried was that Desert Sage palette, but it was bulkiest packaging on earth. I mean, maybe not on earth, but it was bulky packaging that I didn't love. But it was a nice quality and created some really pretty looks. I'm not planning to pick up the Jurassic Park. I do think it's pretty though. And when we're talking about a week of very boring releases, this one is pretty intriguing. I think it's cute. I do know that those little footprints are going to be a pain to get your brush into, but it is cute. Like, can you imagine if you use up all the center of that trying to get to the toes and use it? That's one you have to like depot in order to use. Okay, and then Harry Potter collection with SheGlam. Oh, SheGlam. I feel like it's been a while since I've heard of heard about SheGlam. Cute palettes. Of course, there's a green one that is mostly browns and like taupey. Not taupe. I guess it is. It's like a dirty green taupe shade with like one dark green shimmer for the green palette. That's not very green in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Cute packaging. I'm not into Harry Potter, so that doesn't hold any draw to me, but I'm sure if you were, that would be pretty cool. Oh, I forgot that I did my face first, and here I am just being so like what do you call them? Not careful with my shadow. It's going off all right. There was a little bit of fallout, but most of that went away. There's maybe a touch of staining. I should have thought about that. I know Give Me Glow has a good bit of fallout that stains, so I should have just not done my face today, but I felt like doing my face first before turning on the camera and recording. Anyway, I'm not planning to pick it up at all, but you'll have to let me know. Have you tried SheGlam? I feel like SheGlam is that brand that I've only tried, I think technically 2 palettes from like a long time ago, and I've never tried them again, but they've come out with some really good palettes. I remember, what was it? I am not into this, as you can tell, because I don't even know what it's called, but like when they have Aries, Leo, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I'll think about it in a minute, but they had those palettes and all those like beautiful kind of like fairy looking ladies on the cover, and the color stories are so good. That one I was so tempted to pick up, but I actually never did pick anything up, but I was very, very tempted. I have not picked up anything in forever from the brand, but let me know if you have. Are they a brand that I'm just sleeping on? I know SheGlam has a lot of, you know, baggage with the brand, so that's kind of why I've never bothered, but I am curious. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this grungy green going into the dark green, and then we'll probably use that pink on the inner corner, and then that's the only shade we won't use, so that's fine. Okay, this is something that's old, but I didn't mention it in my last one, and I kind of wanted to mention it, so we're gonna mention it. But it is the Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles collab. They like collab together. It looks very pretty. Definitely a nice type of neutral palette that I would like be curious to try. I didn't end up getting it because when it was launching, it was around the same time as this palette that I'm using today, the Cosmic Brushes palette that I have right next to me that I still need to do a video on. So I was like, you know, you got enough coming in, Katie. You do not need to get that palette. So it was an easy pass for me, but mostly because I had other palettes to grab my attention. But I know a lot of people got it and were doing videos on it and really pretty looks with it. So if you picked it up, let me know, dude. Was it a nice palette? I have tried Lunar Beauty's formula in the past. I think it was an older palette because I remember not liking the shimmers at all, but the mattes I think were okay. They were fine, and I've heard that he's improved a lot. The brand as a whole has improved a lot over the last couple years, so that's always a good sign, but I wasn't wowed by the shimmers at all. But the mattes were nice enough, if I remember correctly. But yeah, let me know if you tried them out. So Essence came out with a Positive Vibes Only collection, and of course it caught my attention because there was a green palette in there. I'm not picking it up just because the checkered eyeshadow, like I like creative looking eyeshadows. I don't mind a little marbling. The checkered is just a little much for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Something about it, I can't even, I guess it would just be a lighter color of that green because it's mostly white with the green. I don't know. I wasn't into it. Those type of colors, you guys know when it comes to greens, I love greens, but I do prefer more of the grungy type of dirty greens than the kind of like blue greens, the Christmassy greens, like these type of greens that I'm currently putting on my eyes. But you know, preference wise, I do prefer that kind of dirty, muddy, grungy type of green over this more blue green that I think you call it like a blue-green Christmas green, that type of thing. So yeah, as a whole, that palette kind of had the leaning away from the grunge more into that blue. So it was an easy pass for me. And I haven't tried Essence eyeshadow ever. Are they any good? I think I feel like I've tried them once. Obviously not recently because I can't even remember, but I feel like I picked it up a long time ago, like right after I got married. We're talking 9 years ago. I can't remember. But if I did, I wasn't impressed. I can't remember if that was that or LA Girl, honestly, because I remember picking up a little quad, but I can't remember if it was LA Girl. But either way, it wasn't remarkable enough for me to remember. And that was a long time ago, so maybe they've improved. You have to let me know. Is Essence eyeshadow, I mean, for the most part, I feel like I'm usually not interested in the color story, but formula-wise, is it worth checking out at the drugstore? Okay, this is looking pretty. I'm going to finish up with trying to keep the fallout to a minimum since I already got my base makeup done, and I'm just going to finish meshing the outer edges together. I do like that that brown turned more of like a black, mixing it with or at least a really deep brown, mixing it with the green. It's not really that kind of browny brown in the palette, or it's like a red brown, I think, or like a purpley brown, that thing. I like how it ends up mixing with the two. Okay, this is really interesting. This is the SheGlam, again, SheGlam, but this is their new, what's it called? Vinyl Pop Color palettes, and it's got like a Vaseline-y, lip balmy, see-through thing that's supposed to look, I think, like a vinyl disc. It's weird. At least I think it's pretty weird. I saw this and I was just like, what? Like, I thought it was spinning at first, so I was like, oh my goodness, did a brand actually put like a little fidget spinner inside one of their palettes? But no, I think it's just lip balm, so it kind of looks like it's spinning. I don't know, it confuses me, and I'm not into the color story, and the theme of it really isn't for me. I have a cat hair on my nose, I'm pretty sure, because oh my goodness, it is itching. Our cats, I love our cats, but we got them from the shelter and they were advertised as short hair cats, and I didn't know enough about cats, and I remember thinking like they got a lot of hair for being short hair, but I was like, maybe it's like baby fur, like your baby hair. You lose your baby hair and then your real stuff comes out. No, they got some long hair, and oh my goodness, they are shedding so bad right now. Anyway, yeah, I'm not interested in this at all, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Again, I have not heard a whole lot when it comes to SheGlam releases in forever. Is everyone pretty much over SheGlam? Okay, I really want to do a wing with this because I feel like that's just going to pull the look together, but a wing usually takes me so much time and it's hard to do while talking, so I'm just going to take the time real quick to do a wing and probably put on some mascara real quick, and then we'll move on to the next new makeup that's boring me. Okay, just tiny little wings. I want to talk about the What's Up Beauty Watch Me mascara. This is a new release that recently came out, and it's a very interesting wand because it's like the majority of it is a regular type of natural bristle brush, which I typically don't love, but one side of it is a plastic, and I'll put a picture here, but it's like a plastic comb, so it's supposed to help separate. One's supposed to really apply the product and really clump it on there, and then you kind of turn and brush it through to get the most oomph in your lashes. So I was super curious when they asked if I wanted to try it, so I was like, yeah, let me see it. Like I said, I don't usually love the natural bristles when it comes to my mascara. I love plastic bristles, preferably. I just feel like they work better. I'm using the natural side right now. But this combination, I like to try different things when it comes to mascara, so I was curious how it would work. So I feel like it's kind of unfair to judge a mascara right when you open it, because I feel like anytime I do that, usually there's like a drying out phase when it comes to a mascara. It's like a little too wet. So I've been using this about a week or so, I think. Maybe even over a week. So, and of course, my camera stopped recording when I was doing this, so I don't know how much you caught or didn't catch, but basically this is one application of the natural bristle side of the brush, and now I'm going to flip and kind of comb a little bit with the natural bristle, but then use the plastic tip to really brush through and try to get more oomph, because I think that's my biggest thing with this mascara, is that while I like it, it's not too clumpy. It just doesn't give me enough like definition and product application to really plump up my lashes as much as my favorite mascaras do. It's not bad, it's just a little bit more subtle, I feel like, or I have to work more to get it really plumped up. And I've been really into, like I said, what's some of my favorites? I love the Bad Gal Bang from Benefit. That's a great one. The Princess Warrior from what's it called? From Flower Beauty. But this is not terrible. It's just, it doesn't give me, and maybe it could be me because I did just have a baby, so I feel like my lashes are a little extra short. Maybe I lost a lot of them and they're just taking a little while to grow in as long, but it's not bad. But I feel like it's definitely hard to see because I have so much eye makeup going on, but that's typically what I do. So here's what it looks like. And I'm sorry if you're someone who likes mascara reviews with nothing on your eyes, but that's not what I do. And this is just a a subtle type of review. I got a little mascara right there on the tip, so I just pushed it off. But yeah, that is one coat, or typically my one coat, like my one go in with the Watch Me mascara from What's Up Beauty. So it definitely does something. I don't think it's like a terrible mascara, but it's just a little bit on the, it's just okay side. Like, it's not anything mind-blowing. It doesn't blow my socks off as much as I remember, like the Bad Gal Bang mascara the first time I tried it. Like, oh my goodness. And what's that other one? It's really a bulky bulb one from L'Oreal. It's kind of like skinny up here, but then it comes to like this big, almost like a light bulb. The shape reminds me of, but that one's fantastic. I haven't bought it in a while because of the shape and just storing it in my drawers. It's a pain in the butt. But that's a good one as well, and that one just like wowed me so much. It made it so inky black and just applied so much awesome product that I don't know, I just feel like it impressed me more. Whereas this one, it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. I definitely don't think it's like, oh, that doesn't do anything for my lashes. Like, it definitely does something, but it's just a little bit more on the like, oh, it's good. It's a good mascara. Okay, let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I want to put a little pop of something on my inner corner, so I'm going to wait for 1 minute. Oh yes, GlamLite came out with a new collab, the Hershey Milk Chocolate and GlamLite collab. They got Milk Chocolate and Cookies and Cream collection. I think if I was into more cool tone blues, I would be really into that Cookies and Cream, because I think that's interesting. I kind of want to go hot pink, but I feel like that's a little too much. So what should I do for that lower lash line pop? I could go yellow. Maybe we'll do yellow. Let's just do that, yellow. That'll definitely be a pop because there's nothing else yellow in here. But if I was more into that kind of neutral, smoky type blue, grayed out blues, I think that would be fun, but I'm not. So this collection I saw and I was like, oh, okay, easy pass for me. I didn't get any of her previous collections. What, she had 4 palettes come out with her last Hershey collection. I was super into them. I can't remember. It's been so long and there's so many makeup releases all the time. You forget what comes out and whatnot, but I didn't get any of them. I do know that. So this one, neither one of them. One of them is like super neutral. It's thankfully like a deep neutral. I think that's fun and different. The neutral palettes that are like all my skin tone or lighter type of thing, it's just like, that's not going to show up or do anything on my eyes. I never like that. So at least this one gives you depth, which is, you know, if I'm going to go neutral, I like to have some depth in there. So I like that about it, but it just didn't do anything for me. I've seen some reviews of it. People seem to like it, but the color story doesn't do it for me, so it's an easy pass. When it comes to GlamLite, and I just wasn't, I don't know, wasn't wowed. It was one of those kind of like, kind of boring releases. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else before I put on my inner corner? And I guess pick a lip color. I also didn't do any highlight. Oh yes, Klarity Cosmetics, I can't speak. Klarity Cosmetics is coming out with a Croc mini palette. And this looks super pretty. I'm very tempted to get it because it's like, it's got the grunge, but I feel like it's a little too dark for me when you're looking at those mattes. I feel like it's all gonna kind of, not muddy together, but it's gonna mesh together and just be very deep. I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't like, I'd get a couple looks that I really like, but for the most part, they would all be a little too dark. And like, if you're blending those dark tones together, I feel like they might not muddy up, but mesh up together and not be much differentiation between them because there doesn't seem to be a really, I mean, that orange is going to be nice and brightening, but everything else is a little bit deep toned. I don't know, just something about it. I like the color story, but when I was looking at it and thinking about looks, I was like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't need it. So I am passing. I am trying to pass on as much as I can recently, just because of some things going on in my personal life. We're trying not to go too ham on, ham on spending things that I don't need, and palettes are one of those things that I don't need. But this one, it almost, like, it kind of intrigued me for a minute, but when I really sat there and studied, I was like, it doesn't seem like a good fit. So it was an easy pass. Also, I saw that they're coming back. Klarity Cosmetics is coming back with a So Mermaizing palette. She's doing it in squares, so it makes me think she reformulated it. But I'm not brave enough to try it, because if you missed when I tried the original palette, oh my goodness, I don't want to try it. I don't want to try it again, because I can still remember how messy my desk and my like area around me got anytime I opened that palette. And it now sits on my desk, or not on my desk, it now sits on my bookshelf, and I never want to open it because it will be a mess if I open it. It was a mess. So I just have very, very strong recollections to what a mess it was. So I saw these and I was like, cool, she reformulated it, but I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna see how the reformulation is. I hope it's great. Oh yeah, and then Natasha Denona came out with a new mini. I don't know why I'm waving my tail of my braid around like this, but I am. A new mini eyeshadow palette, the Starlight eyeshadow palette. No. The mattes are all pinky, and like I feel like the deepest one is still like a very light shade, like maybe mid-tone on me. Sure, maybe it's a little bit darker in person, but I mean, even look at these swatches. The top and the bottom one are so close. It's like have one or the other and give like a really dark shade in there. Like, what is this? Not for me. This is not meant for me. Like, okay, this modelly color, I'll put it on here. The model, not modelly color, the model modeling this palette, how did they get it that deep in there? Unless she is like lighter than paper, I just feel like that's a really pretty dark, or like the wing. The wing has to be something else. There's just more depth in there than I feel like that palette. I don't know. I saw that and I was like, yeah, no, that's a very easy pass. Not even like semi-interested. And last up, let's just talk about Kylie Cosmetics is coming out with a coffee eyeshadow palette that's a bunch of browns, and most of them are very light toned. I do like that they're all mattes. You guys know I love to work with mattes, but no, it's called the what is it even called? The Classic Mattes palette. The swatches that I see don't even look that remarkable. They look a little thin. I've never tried Kylie Cosmetics. You have to let me know. I've never tried it. I've always, like, there's been a couple times I'm like, ooh, I want to try and just see what the formula is like, because they used to get a lot of heat back in the day for having really bad formula, but I don't hear as much anymore, so I'm like, did they get better? But yeah, I ain't trying that one. Easy pass. Like I said, super boring week. Okay, so real quick, several hours later, obviously, I got a little one with me. I missed a release that I did not see when recording. It had just like hit the Instagram algorithm and showed me right after I finished filming. So I'm just popping in here real quick with her because she's just not ready for a nap, and this is the only time I have to film. But anyway, Fantasy Cosmetics Fantasy Cosmetica, that's it, just revealed their Fighter palette. It's launching on July 20th at 9 a.m. And yeah, the color story looks pretty, but I feel like it's something I've seen from them. Maybe it was a Druid palette, I can't remember, but anyway, it's got 4 mattes and the rest shimmers. It's a no for me just from the color story. I need to watch some movies to see if that sways me at all, because it does have that grunge factor that I like, but overall seeing it, I was just kind of like, okay, I'll pass. If it was a bigger palette that had some lighter tones, I think I would enjoy the palette as a whole as like a neutral grunge. But as it is, the palette just doesn't speak to me. So I saw it and I was like, okay, that's neat coming from them. You know, exciting to see them come out with something else, but it's just an easy no for me. What do you think, Sophia? Yeah? Do you think it's an easy no? Yeah, okay. Oh, ow. Okay. All right, so anyway, just wanted to say that really quick because I couldn't believe I just missed it. Back to the outro. All right, that is going to do it for all the new makeup releases that I'm talking about. Here is the final look. I'll go ahead and stick up close-ups. I don't typically do this when I do a will I buy it while, you know, get ready with me type of video, but I usually do that with palettes I've already featured on my channel. But I'll go ahead and stick up a close-up and give you guys a very brief first impression. Again, this is a first impression review because I have only tried it literally this one time. I was very happy with all the mattes, and the shimmers are beautiful. They're very sparkly. I'll have to see how they wear just because sometimes the intense sparkly can just like go all over my face by the end of the day. I did put down a glitter primer, but right now they're staying put and they are just beautifully sparkly. I don't see any shift as far as like them being multi-chromes. I don't think they are, but if they are, they're more of a very subtle shift to the point where like it's like the darker shade is like green to blue, and then the grungy shade is kind of like green to gold. So they're very, very close. I will go ahead and stick up a picture as well of me doing a side shot, but I don't know, like, you know, with the mirror, but I don't know if you'll be able to see very well because I use 2 different colors on my lid. But as I play with this, I'll definitely try just one shade all over my lid and then try to use a mirror to see if it is multi-chromish. But overall, I was very happy with the quality. It's nicely, intensely pigmented. The colors paid off really, really well. I was happy to see that while that brown looked a little bit like it was going to give me trouble with blending it in and meshing colors together, I think the end result is a very nice seamless blend that I'm super happy with. So overall, really good first impression, and I'll continue to see how I like it as I continue to play with it. But with that said, that is going to do it for this Will I Buy talking about new makeup releases while putting my makeup on. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down below. As I said, I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Am I the only one who thought that this week was a boring release, or did I just miss all of the interesting releases? Because like as I was refreshing and looking around for new releases, I'm just like, where are they? Maybe I'm out of the loop. Maybe I'm missing them. So let me know if I missed any. But with that said, that is going to do it for me. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.